for your computer?
No,
Why?
because I'm using it.
Why?
Because I'm working.
Why?
Because I have work to do.
Why?
You can use the iPad, you know.
Why?
Because you have an iPad.
Why?
Raj, breeze no?
Fine!
Okay guys, I'm happy I chose the I'm happy you guys chose the
On October 1st, 1996, a baby girl took her first breath in Jamaica. No one could have guessed that this child would one day sit behind the wheel of a $250,000 Lamborghini. Her name was Shenseea. She was raised not in mansions, but in the humble corners of Kingston, where dreams often felt out of reach. Her single mother, a woman of strength, carried the weight of two lives, her own and her daughter's. Every step Shenseea took, her mother was there, whispering courage into her ear. But fate is cruel. Her mother passed away before she could see the full glory her daughter was destined for. The world would celebrate Shenseea's rise, yet her biggest supporter would only live in memory. And while her songs filled arenas and her voice crossed oceans, one question lingered in silence. The story of her father, a man of Korean blood, remained hidden, locked away from the spotlight. Why was he absent? Why did no one dare to speak of him? This video uncovers not only the truth of her family, but also the story of her son, her luxury life, and the secret pain that shaped her into who she is today. The story of Shenseea begins in Jamaica, 1996. She was born in the parish of St. Mary, and later grew up in Kingston, where life was not easy. Her mother raised her alone, working hard to provide what little she could. There was no luxury, only survival. But even in these tough conditions, Shenseea found something that gave her hope: music. She started singing in the church choir, where her voice quickly stood out. It was not polished, but it was strong. And most importantly, it gave her a reason to keep going. Outside the church, real life was much harder. Bills kept piling up. To help her family, she worked as a promo girl, handing out flyers, smiling for brands, and earning just enough to get by. Many young people in Jamaica live the same struggle, dreaming big but trapped by daily survival. But Shenseea had something different. Her voice was too powerful to be ignored. It was her ticket out. And step by step, people began to notice. Still, one part of her life never had answers. A family secret that followed her even as her name grew bigger. Her fame could cover the struggles of money, but not the silence around her own bloodline. The world was starting to hear her music. But behind the spotlight, another question remained. Who gave her the strength to keep chasing this dream when everything around her said no? The person who shaped Shenseea's life the most was her mother, Castelline. She was a Jamaican woman who worked tirelessly to keep her daughter safe and moving forward. Every day, she carried the weight of two parents. She was the anchor when life was unstable. She was the believer when the world doubted. And she was the one who gave up her own needs so her daughter could have a chance. For Shenseea, her mother was not just family, she was the reason to fight. She was the sacrifice that made everything possible. But in 2020, tragedy struck. Her mother passed away, a loss that broke Shenseea's world apart. No amount of money, no stage lights, no sold-out concerts could fill the silence her mother left behind. Fame could not heal this wound. For every success Shenseea reached, there was always one thought. Her mother was not there to see it. Every trophy, every new house, every car felt incomplete without her mother's smile. And in the middle of this grief, another truth remained. The person who should have been there, the one who should have shared this burden, was absent. Her father, a man of Korean blood, stayed a shadow. He did not step forward in her childhood, and even as her name grew famous, he stayed silent. Why has her father remained hidden from her life, even as the world knows her name? While Shenseea's mother was her rock, her father was a ghost. Her father, born in Korea, has been estranged from her life since the beginning. She has rarely spoken about him in interviews. There are no pictures, no memories she shares, no support she remembers. The silence around him is louder than any words she could say. He was a missing figure. No visits during childhood, no guidance as she grew, and no hand to hold as she chased her dream. This absence left a space that even fame could not fill. Fans around the world still wonder who he is. Some even speculate online, trying to guess his identity. But no answer has ever come from Shenseea. She has chosen to keep that part of her life in the shadows. And maybe that silence speaks more than any confession. Because while the world knows her voice, her stage, and her success, her father's story remains untold. The world celebrated her rise. But deep down, she was still the girl who never had her father in the crowd. Yet, life gave her something else, something that changed the way she saw everything. She became a mother. The role she longed for from her father became the role she promised never to fail for her own child, and that leads to the next chapter of her story. What changed when Shenseea became a parent herself? In 2015, Shenseea's life changed forever. She welcomed her son, Rogero. From the moment he was born, everything in her world shifted. He became her light, her reason, her purpose. Every smile, every laugh gave her the strength to keep moving. For many young mothers, motherhood brings fear. Fear that dreams will fade, fear that careers will stop, fear that life will close its doors. But for Shenseea, motherhood did the opposite. It made her work harder. It made her dream bigger. She was no longer chasing success only for herself. She was building a future for her son. Still, the road was not easy. Balancing late nights in the studio with early mornings as a mom was exhausting. There were times she carried her child in one arm and her music in the other. The struggle was real, and it was familiar, because in many ways, she was repeating her mother's story, raising a child alone. Her mother had carried her without a father. Now she carried Rogero in the same way. The echo of that struggle shaped her, but it also gave her power. She promised to never let her son feel the absence she once felt. And as her fame grew, so did her love for him. But to give her son a life beyond survival, she needed more than strength. She needed a new beginning, a place where she could rebuild after loss and rise even higher. Where could she start again, carrying both tragedy and growth on her shoulders? In 2020, Shenseea made one of the biggest moves of her life. After her mother's death, she left Kingston behind and moved to Los Angeles. It was more than a change of city. It was a change of world. From the tight, crowded streets of Kingston to the wide, polished roads of LA, her environment completely shifted. In Jamaica, survival shaped her days. In Los Angeles, opportunity and pressure walked side by side. The move was not only an escape from pain, it was a step into reinvention, a chance to build a new version of herself while carrying the memory of her mother. For many immigrants, moving abroad means starting from zero. But for Shenseea, she already carried fame, fans, and recognition. Her challenge was different. She had to prove she could shine in a world where stars are everywhere. And in LA, she unlocked something she had never known before: luxury. Her move opened the door to her dream home, a modern house in Los Angeles, built with the rewards of her hard work. It was a symbol, a sign that the girl from Kingston was no longer just surviving. She was living a life many could only imagine. Yet, the house was more than walls and glass. It spoke about her journey, her sacrifices, and the new life she was building for her son. But what does this dream home really say about the woman she has become? In Los Angeles, Shenseea finally found the home she had once only dreamed about. It was a modern house, mixing a touch of Caribbean flair with the shine of Hollywood polish. This house was not just a place to live, it was proof that she had made it. Proof that the little girl from Kingston had turned her voice into a life of success. But there was also a shadow behind the walls. Her mother had worked for this moment her whole life. And yet, she was not there to see it. Every room in the house reminded Shenseea of what she had gained and what she had lost. It was both a symbol of victory and a quiet reminder of pain. Still, the house carried something beautiful too. Inside, her son Rogero was growing up with the life she never had. A safe home, a comfortable space, a world where dreams felt possible. For Shenseea, that was the greatest reward, but homes alone were never enough. The stage kept calling her. The road demanded her voice. And no matter how stunning the house was, her career always pulled her back into motion. The house stood still, but her journey did not. And outside those doors, parked close by, were the machines that told the next part of her story. What luxury rides does she keep beside this home? One of Shenseea's biggest symbols of success sits right in her driveway. A Lamborghini Urus, worth about $250,000. It is more than a car. It is speed, power, and status wrapped in one machine. For a girl who once walked the streets of Kingston, sitting inside a supercar feels like stepping into a different world. The bright paint, the roaring engine, the sharp design. It tells everyone she is no longer just surviving. She is living the life she once only imagined. But Shenseea's story is not only about cars. Her lifestyle stretches far beyond engines and wheels. It reaches into fashion, global brands, and partnerships that show she is more than just a singer. Her image has become a stage of its own. But how did fashion and global brands turn her into more than an artist? Shenseea's rise was not only in music, it was in fashion and global brands. She became the face of Pepsi, modeled with Pretty Little Thing, and joined campaigns that reached millions worldwide. Her style turned heads on red carpets. She stunned at award shows, where her outfits made as much noise as her voice. Every brand deal added shine to her public image. They showed the world she was not just a singer from Jamaica. She was a global star. She mastered the balance between music and fashion, proving she could dominate both industries. But all this power in brands and style came from one source. It was her music that first opened the doors, and it was her songs that kept her name alive. So what music laid the foundation for this entire empire? At the center of Shenseea's empire is her music. She signed with Interscope Records, one of the biggest labels in the world. Her debut album, Alpha in 2022, proved she was more than a local star. Then came Never Gets Late Here in 2024, pushing her deeper into the global stage. Her voice even reached Kanye West's Donda, a collaboration that shocked many and placed her beside the biggest names in music. The leap from church choirs in Kingston to Grammy stages is something few can imagine, but Shenseea lived it. Her work brought her awards, including the NAACP Image Award and the MOBO Award, sealing her place as an international name. And yet, even with all this, fans ask the same question again and again. How rich is she really? What is Shenseea's true net worth and lifestyle today? By 2025, Shenseea's net worth is estimated at nearly $6 million. It is a fortune built from music, touring, and powerful endorsements. From Kingston's small stages to world arenas, every performance added to her empire. Every brand deal, from fashion to drinks, stacked another layer of success. Now she lives between Los Angeles and Kingston, balancing luxury with motherhood. Her Lamborghini, her dream home, and her global fame are real. But so is the challenge of raising her son with stability while the spotlight never turns off. Fame always brings scrutiny, questions, and critics. Yet Shenseea wears it all with grace, refusing to let the noise take away her focus. Still, behind all the wealth and glory, one question continues to haunt her story. What is the hidden truth that completes Shenseea's family story? At the center of Shenseea's story remains a silent truth. Her father, born in Korea, has never stepped into her life. No matter the fame, no matter the wealth, the gap he left behind never closed. Her rise to global success could not erase the absence of a parent. She owns luxury homes in Los Angeles, drives a Lamborghini, and holds a fortune near $6 million. But the question of her father remains a wound that even millions cannot heal. This is the hidden piece in her family's story, the one she has never reconciled. It shows that even empires can feel incomplete when family roots are broken. From the baby girl born in 1996 Jamaica to the global star we see today, her light shines, but her journey carries shadows. And it leaves us asking, what is true wealth? Riches, or the embrace of a parent never known? Shenseea's story is bigger than music or fame. It is a story of love, of loss, and of resilience. Behind the cars, the houses, and the millions, there is a daughter who still misses her mother every day. There is a young woman who became a mother herself, fighting to give her son the life she never had. And there is still the silence of a missing father, the one chapter she may never close. Her journey shows us that behind every superstar is a human story, one built on pain, strength, and hope. Her mother and her son remain the heart behind the spotlight. If you want more untold family stories of the world's biggest icons, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell. and tell us, what part of Shenseea's journey moved you most? Her rise, her motherhood, or the secret of her missing father?